As the dad of two young kids, I'm busy living the parent life. Between science projects and bedtime stories, and also keeping up with who needs to be at soccer practice or dance lessons, the days are packed. But this year, one thing's been taking up a lot of my attention: the 2024 presidential election. Deciding who to vote for isn't an easy task these days, especially when so much is at stake. And for me, one issue is at the forefront: protecting our right to the freedom of speech. It is my hope that Trump, Biden, and RFK Jr. begin to address the importance of our freedom of speech and make policies that reinforce what I consider to be our most important right as American citizens. The First Amendment guarantees us the right to speak our minds, and as a father, I can't overstate how important it is to protect this right for my children. Whether it's my son sharing a story in front of his classmates or my daughter making a case for more recess time, their voices matter. They should always feel free to express themselves without the fear of being silenced. As I consider the candidates this year, I'm looking for someone who understands that freedom of speech is not just a talking point, it's a cornerstone of our democracy. This freedom gives people the right to criticize their government, champion causes that they believe in, and share their ideas. It's the same right that allows my neighbor to voice his concerns at City Hall or my coworkers to write letters to the editor. I've seen firsthand the importance of free speech in my community. It's what allows people to gather at town meetings and express their opinions on local issues, from school funding to road repairs. Free speech ensures that everyone's voice can be heard, but lately I've noticed a disturbing trend of intolerance for differing opinions. It's as if people believe that the only way to win an argument is by silencing the other side. This erosion of respectful discourse concerns me as a parent because it sets a very, very dangerous precedent. For my children, I'm hoping they grow up in a world where differences of opinion are embraced, where listening is just as valued as speaking, and where people understand that disagreement doesn't mean animosity. It's about making sure they're prepared to stand up for their beliefs and have those beliefs respected by others. But protecting freedom of speech isn't as simple as defending our right to talk about the weather. It gets more complicated when the ideas expressed aren't popular or when they challenge the status quo. It takes a strong leader to uphold this right, especially when it's uncomfortable. This is why I'm scrutinizing the candidates closely, trying to determine who will uphold this principle even when the going gets tough. It's not just about who can deliver the best sound bites during debates. It's about how they've handled situations in the past. How have they reacted when people spoke out against them? Have they supported the right to protest or criticized it? Do they have a history of blocking journalists or restricting press access? Well, that's a no-go for me. A candidate's record on these issues is telling because their past actions are often a good indicator of what they will do in office. When we start restricting speech, even with good intentions, it sets a very, very dangerous precedent. Today it might be to protect public safety, but tomorrow it could be used to silence criticism. And that's not a world that I want my children to grow up in. They need to be able to speak up for themselves and for others without fear of retribution. I'm also thinking about how social media complicates things. My kids are already beginning to navigate this new landscape where their opinions can reach a global audience. Obviously, I put plenty of restrictions on things along these lines, but I'm going to have to teach them to use these platforms responsibly eventually. I can't stop it from coming, but it's crucial that their voices aren't drowned out or unfairly censored just because their ideas don't align with a particular viewpoint. Ultimately, the candidate that I vote for needs to show a strong commitment to protecting these rights. This isn't a partisan issue. It's about the future of our democracy. The freedom to speak our minds must remain a cornerstone of our society, not a privilege for those who have the loudest megaphones. As I talk to my kids about this upcoming election, I try to impress upon them the importance of listening, understanding different viewpoints, and being willing to engage respectfully. I'm hoping that they will grow up appreciating that our freedoms are what makes us strong. By voting for a candidate who will protect these rights, I'm casting a vote for their future. This election, I'm not just thinking about policies or promises. I'm thinking about examples that we're setting for the next generation. The freedom to speak openly and honestly is a gift that we can't afford to lose. So as I weigh those options one more time and head to the polls, my decision will be driven by the desire to protect this vital right for my kids and for all of us as well.